The weather seems nice again today. A lot of colors starting to change anyways with things like the trees and plants as expected. And with that in mind, what did I read today? Even though it looks nice out here, it seems like when you're reading the news today, everything was negative. War, for example, people getting shot. What's going on, huh? How about this first one? Apparently there was conflict in regards to a Russian drone, as they say, that went into an area where it shouldn't and it got shot down, which might escalate tensions, I guess. This one here says flight tracking shows NATO response to Russian incursion in Poland. At least 19 Russian drones entered Polish airspace last night, resulting in widespread condemnation from Polish allies and a swift NATO response. It says the advance of Russian drones crossed into Poland around 1:50 a.m. local time, with several drones reportedly entering the country from Belarus. As Polish and NATO forces struck them down from the skies, litter and debris rained down across the country. Sky News has verified multiple locations where Russian drones crashed. Ricky Wola in the Lublin district in eastern Poland was affected the most, but drones were found in the northern, eastern, and southeastern areas of the country. So you can see pictures of the drones too. It's not the Shahed ones that you've often read about. Apparently, it says here it's the Gerbera drones. They're similar, but according to this anyways, it says they're built with low-cost materials like plywood or foam, making it about 10% of the price to produce. I suppose if countries can produce these drones that easily, then there's no reason why they wouldn't take more risk, I suppose, huh? Like here, if they get shot down, it's not like someone's flying in it. Then at the same time, like here, it's going to create tensions, obviously, if you go into other people's airspace and all that. Let's see what happens, I guess. And in terms of conflicts and stuff, I was watching all these crazy videos online where there seemed like there were mass protests in a particular area, and it had to do with the government apparently banning things like social media under the guise of things like safety and all that, saying the information you're getting from here or there, it's not, I guess, accurate or is dangerous, so they banned it. And as a result, you can see the mass protests that went out where people were going after officials, chasing them down, and a lot of them had to actually, by the looks of it anyways, get out of there with helicopters, and buildings and stuff were burned down. So what the heck happened? Well, I guess apparently this month, the Nepalese government, under some prime minister named KP Sharma Oli, they implemented a sudden ban on 26 popular social media platforms, which includes TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, X, and YouTube. And the rationale, as mentioned, was they claimed there were concerns over things like misinformation, cyberbullying, and national security threats amplified by these platforms. But as you can imagine, a lot of people were saying that's not the case. They are basically trying to suppress, I guess, information, restrict free speech and all that. And I guess on top of other stuff, people are extremely angry over systemic corruptions. For example, they were saying things like nepotism in that area, economic inequality, a lot of the stuff that you would, I guess, expect in terms of talking points everywhere around the world. And in that area in particular, it seems like youth activism has been rising really quickly. And with this ban, it seemed like it was the younger generation, as they say, who primarily, I guess, took it into their own hands to protest this, although this was not a quote peaceful protest by the looks of it afterwards. And according to this too, they say because of this massive outrage, the Nepalese government reversed the social media ban on September 9th, but it was a little too late in terms of everyone being in that angry mindset. And they started to, again, it seems like burn things and so forth. And because of this, it says Prime Minister Ali announced his resignation, citing the need to restore peace and address the people's grievances. So as you can imagine, in this particular incident, people are saying, whoa, the government better really be careful in terms of how much they push people, especially in this case, I suppose, in terms of restrictions and all that, trying to say they're banning this or that under the guise of safety. But the underlying theme is people just didn't have trust in the government and they were tired of losing all their rights, huh? So what would you say in this case? And with that thought, this piece of news was going everywhere, where apparently in the US there was a high-profile shooting or assassination, if that's what you want to call it. Apparently there was a person who does a lot of political commentary by the sounds of it. His name was Charlie Kirk, and he was organizing some kind of event at the Utah Valley University. From what I gather, I've often seen clips of these, for example, little short snippets where it's him, I guess, debating with somebody, and just from what I've seen anyways from the clips, often the people he's debating with, they completely contradict themselves. And so I guess in this setting, he did the same thing. There was a huge turnout and somebody was actually there to specifically kill him. I'm not going to show the actual clip because as you can imagine, there were tons of cameras everywhere, but it was so gruesome. It seemed like he just finished answering someone's questions and then just like that, he got shot in the neck, it seemed like, and you can see this blood squirting out everywhere. I have no clue how anybody's going to survive that. Some people were saying he's still, for example, alive, but then other people are saying he passed away. So what is going on at the moment? Who knows? I'm just reading it as it's happening. Apparently, they have this older gentleman that they apprehended as a suspect, and he was just telling people to like shoot him, for example, going on all this rhetoric, I guess, about rights and lefts and so forth. I guess it's one of those things again, huh? Politics, they ruin everything and they divide people so much. But at the same time, another interesting thing was, initially people were saying this is the shooter, but it doesn't seem like it because when you see other videos that are popping up, you can see it seemed like someone was on the rooftop of the building around the area, and right after it seemed like the person was running away. So the assumption is that is the guy that they should be focused on.
Getting right up.
Yeah. You think he'd already be in place?
You would think that. So there's somebody on the roof right there? Just saying.
Huh.
He just ran from over.
And again, the information is all over the place, but some say they actually apprehended the person, whereas some say they didn't. But the identity hasn't officially been released publicly overall, and they say there may be more than just one person, obviously. Like it could be like a group of people. That's terrible too. If all the person does is literally just have conversations with people in that regards, and people think that's a threat to the point where they need to do stuff like that, it honestly makes me think, okay, they probably are saying a lot of stuff that has a lot of valid points per se, and you can't debate on the facts, so instead you resort to these types of violence. Because ironically, whatever group was responsible for this, if the intent is to silence the person in hopes, okay, they will stop spreading this and that, ironically, it spreads the message even more and makes people think critically anyways. Hey, what's going on? What is the person saying that's that threatening to you? Is there actually any merit to it? It probably raises more conversation and awareness, huh? Again, it's just one of those days today, it seemed, where there was violence everywhere and everything you read pretty much. All right, see you guys later.